Welcome to Grade 4, our classroom. Today, a class will be conducted on the concept of play-based learning. Today's learning objective is students will be able to understand how an analog clock works and create a model of a clock. Before jumping into today's class, let's dig a little deeper. What exactly is a play in classrooms concept? According to the Lego Foundation, a framework has been established to enunciate the idea of a play. A play is a learning activity which is meaningful, joyful, socially interactive, actively engaging, and iterative. Throughout the session, we'll describe how today's class is a play-based learning activity.
আমার হাতে যে ঘড়িটা আছে এখানে নাম্বার কতগুলো আছে 12টা 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 ভেরি গুড এখানে কতগুলো কাঁটা আছে না কালো রঙের কাঁটা এখানে কয়টা দুইটা আরেকটা কাঁটার রং কি লাল সব ঘড়িতে কি কাঁটা একই রকম রং থাকে এরকম এক একটা এক এক রকম থাকতে পারে কিন্তু একটা কাঁটা থাকবে ছোট একটা কাঁটা থাকবে আরেকটু বড় আরেকটা কাঁটা থাকবে আরেকটু বড় ভেরি গুড যে কাঁটাটা সবচেয়ে বড় এটা দেখো কত দ্রুত যাচ্ছে এটা শুধু নড়তে যাচ্ছে যাচ্ছে বাকি দুটো কাঁটা কি এক জায়গায় বসে আছে আমরা কিন্তু দেখতে পাচ্ছি এটা এক জায়গাতেই বসে আছে তুমি যদি অনেকক্ষণ ঘড়ির কাঁটার দিকে তাকিয়ে থাকো তারপরেও তুমি বুঝতে পারবা না যে কিভাবে এই ছোট কাঁটা যেটা ওটা নড়ছে কারণ এটা খুব আস্তে তাই এটা আমরা খালি চোখে সহজে বুঝতে পারি না এটা নড়ছে কিন্তু এই যে বড় কাঁটাটা এটা প্রত্যেক সেকেন্ডে নড়ে 1 মিনিটে কত সেকেন্ড 60 সেকেন্ড তার মানে এই কাঁটাটা মিনিটে 60 বার নড়ে এবং প্রত্যেক সেকেন্ডে
In this session, students will learn how a clock works through a play and they'll create a model of a clock. In order to be meaningful, a play has to guide the learners from known to unknown and from concrete to abstract. The play has to be relevant to the learners and should be self-sustaining and provocative. In the session, we can see the students of grade 4 being asked whether they know how a clock functions or not. Only a few say that they do, others don't. But all of them recognize that it's a clock the teacher is holding and they have basic idea about time, seconds, minutes and hours. Since a clock is known to all and related to everyone's daily life, it fits the frame of play to be relevant to learners' experience and backgrounds. Also, since the learners recognize the clock but they don't know how it works, it makes the activity provocative and compels the learners to find out more. A play is meaningful when the learners relate to new experience to something they already know. Through this, they express and expand their understanding and knowledge. So, we can establish that this activity is meaningful to the learners.
Being joyful is a crucial part of a play. According to the framework of Lego Foundation, joy is the heart of a play. If the learners are surprised with the turn of events they experience, they tend to learn more effectively. An activity is joyful when the learners have positive peer and teacher interactions. When the learning is joyful, learners feel confident toward the process. Throughout this class, learners receive positive interaction from the teacher all along. When the teacher asks how many of the students know how a clock functions, almost 90% of them say they don't. But the teacher says there's nothing to worry about that, they don't know it. And by the end of the class, all of them will know it. Students feel positive towards such response and they become motivated to cooperate with the educator. The class is conducted with an activity where the students act like they are in a clock. It is a quite new experience to them. They want to know how it will happen. Overall joy factor are all over this session, which makes the activity joyful.
তাই হ্যাঁ আমরা কাগজ দিয়ে একটা ঘড়ি বানাবো, এই ঘড়িটাতে ঘন্টার কাঁটা থাকবে, মিনিটের কাঁটা থাকবে, সেকেন্ডের কাঁটা থাকবে, ঠিক আছে? সেটার জন্য আমরা আগে একটা গ্রুপ তৈরি করব 6 জন করে। তোমরা উঠে দিয়ে ঘুরে যাও, তোমরা উঠে দিয়ে।
Play has to be socially interactive in order to be effective in teaching learning process. The activity where they are creating a human clock required each of them to participate equally. It creates a social and emotional bond among them and made the peer learning process easier. By holding hand to each other and seeing everyone in a circle and in middle of it, they understand subconsciously that they all are equally connected regardless of their race or backgrounds.
In a play, students should experience agency and be supported rather than directed. A play has to engage the learner actively to make the learning process effective. The activity will keep the learner focused, which is visible here. All of the students are engaged in the task and they are playing equally important role, which requires them to rely on other learners and help them as well. Lastly, a play is iterative when the learners have the chance to try out new concepts. They'll have the opportunity to share ideas with each other and re-evaluate their thinking based on the insights of the group. In this classroom, learners are working in a group and what they are doing requires them to share ideas with each other and value their peers' opinions. It helps them to extend their abilities and intelligence. By the end of this class, all of the students state that they now understand the functions of a clock. So, we can say that this activity fits the framework of a play and the learning objective has been met. Hope you enjoyed the video.
ঘড়ি কাটা ঘড়ি বানানো।